Hello, everyone. My name is Nario Cantu, and thank you for tuning in for the Friendly Pharmacist podcast, starting now. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Friendly Pharmacist podcast. I'm your host, Nario Cantu, and today we're diving into a topic that is near and dear to my heart. One that affects so many of us, but is especially pressing for the younger generation today: mental health in youth. Now, I know that mental health in kids and teens doesn't always get the attention it deserves. Sometimes we think of mental health challenges as something that only adults face, but the reality is our children and adolescents are feeling the weight of the world in ways that we might not even realize. They're dealing with pressures, anxieties, and challenges that are often beyond their control. And this is exactly what I want to address today, from the academic pressures they face to the ever-present influence of social media. Let's start by talking about something that's a huge part of many kids' lives: academic pressure. It's no secret that we live in a world that's becoming more competitive by the minute. From the moment kids enter school, they're encouraged to do more, be more, and achieve more. Whether it's acing their tests, participating in extracurriculars, or getting into the best college, the expectations can be overwhelming. And let me tell you, it's not just the parents and teachers who feel it, the kids do too. I've had conversations with parents, educators, and even teens themselves, and the stories are all too familiar. A high school student staying up all night to finish an assignment. A middle schooler stressed out over a test that will determine if they can join the gifted program. When did grades become the sole measure of self-worth? This pressure often leads to anxiety, depression, and a sense of failure when things don't go as planned. And the hardest part? Many kids don't have the tools to manage these emotions. They haven't learned yet that failure doesn't define them, that mental health is just as important as academic achievement, and that it's okay to not be okay sometimes. But the academic pressure isn't the only factor at play. Let's talk about social media for a moment, because this is a big one. I'm sure most of you have heard about the rise of social media platforms and how they've transformed the way we communicate, share, and live. For our kids, these platforms are a lifeline. They help them stay connected, share moments with friends, and feel like they're part of something bigger. But on the flip side, social media has brought a host of challenges the previous generations didn't have to face. Kids today are bombarded with images of perfection, edited photos, influencers showing off their best lives, and constant comparison to their peers. This constant need for validation can create a cycle of anxiety and insecurity. When a teen's worth is tied to how many likes they get on a post or how many followers they have, it becomes harder to maintain a healthy self-image. It's no longer just about fitting in at school. It's about fitting in on a global scale. Studies have shown that social media usage is linked to higher rates of depression and anxiety in teens. Social media can distort reality, leaving kids feeling like they're not measuring up. The rise in cyberbullying is another concerning aspect of this issue. Words on a screen can be just as hurtful, if not more so, than words spoken face-to-face. And unfortunately, kids can't just log off when the bullying happens at school and online. But here's the thing. Social media isn't all bad. There are positives too. It can connect kids with like-minded peers, give them access to mental health resources, and even raise awareness about important issues. It's about teaching our youth how to use these tools mindfully and how to manage their online presence in a way that supports their mental well-being. Now, you may be wondering, Nario, how can we help? What can we do as parents, caregivers, and communities to better support our kids and teens through this? Well, it starts with conversation. We need to normalize discussions around mental health. We have to create spaces where kids feel safe to share what they're feeling, whether that's at home, at school, or with trusted adults. It's okay to not have all the answers, but what's important is that we're listening. I always say that mental health is just as important as physical health, and that's something we need to instill in our children early. It's not a sign of weakness to talk about stress, anxiety, or depression. In fact, it's a sign of strength. And as adults, we can model this behavior by talking openly about our own challenges and coping strategies. Additionally, we can help our kids by setting healthy boundaries with their use of social media, encourage breaks, promote face-to-face connections, and remind them that their self-worth is not determined by an online number. We can also work with schools to ensure that academic pressures are balanced with adequate mental health support. Schools should be a safe place where kids feel supported, not just academically, but emotionally and mentally. I also want to encourage all of you as the adults in their lives to be proactive about mental health. Seek out professional help when needed, whether that's a counselor, or therapist, or even a mental health hotline. If you notice signs of distress, whether sudden changes in behavior, mood swings, or withdrawal, don't ignore it. Reach out, have that conversation, and help them get the support they need. Before I wrap up, I want to leave you with this. We need to remember that we're not alone in this journey. Mental health struggles are not a sign of failure, and they are certainly not something to be ashamed of. The more we talk about it, the more we can break the stigma and create a world where mental health care is just as accessible and normalized as going to the doctor when you're sick. Thank you for listening to this important conversation. As always, I encourage you to continue to reach out to me with your thoughts, questions, and suggestions for future episodes. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of our kids and the future of mental health. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and remember, you're never alone on this journey.